Time for a weekly conversation with Rob Manchester, head coach of Georgia Military College. Coach, how are you?
We're doing great. Trying to lick our wounds and getting ready for Tyler.
Oh, man, that game on Saturday against Iowa Western, it proved again Georgia Military is one of the premier teams in the NJCAA, had an opportunity to win it, and just in overtime, lose it by one. You didn't walk away from the game going, it's a sorry year for Georgia Military. You walked away from the game going, this is one heck of a Bulldog team.
Yeah, I mean, it was disappointing we didn't finish. Came up a yard or two short. To have a great win. But I really think kind of at the end of the day, I think Coach Reddy kind of put it in perfect example. I mean, we're really right where we wanted to be, win or lose. I mean, if we won, don't really know how much you would have jumped up. It would have been great to win. But even though we lost, I think everything is still in front of us. We got to handle our business. But I mean, just what a great college football game altogether. Respect the heck out of Coach Strohmeyer and Iowa Western. We got to get to their level where we can win those type of games. Unfortunately, last year, against, Snow in overtime, and then even when we played Iowa Western in 2021, we're driving to at least get a field goal or win it. But I mean, I think we got a dang good football team. We got to take it one week at a time. Got a really tough Tyler team coming up. But I think we did ourselves justice. I think we proved to the country that we are one of the top junior college programs that's out there. And I'm extremely proud of the guys. I mean, they fought their tails off. Just we came up a little short. They made a couple more plays than we did, but I mean, there's no hanging of your heads here. Everybody's upbeat, and we had a chance, just didn't take advantage of it. But extremely proud of our guys and of our program.
How is the mentality of the team coming off a loss and coming into the Tyler game?
I think we're great mindset right now. I had a really good practice yesterday. We had Labor Day. Monday is kind of our off day. We get a lift in, and we didn't adjust our schedule or anything. Had meetings Sunday night and kind of put that game to bed. And now it's just they're ready to go play the next one. I think the kids, the young men, have a lot of confidence. I think hey, we got a really good team. We almost beat the number one team in the country. We can hang with anybody. And they're ready to just get back out there on the field and play again.
Faced Hunter Deckers. He is a genuine Division One cornerback. 3,000 yards as a freshman at Iowa State. Then, of course, last year sat out with some controversy involving gambling. He is back, and man, he's just a quality quarterback. The first two drives, he did look a little rusty. He gets into the groove and looks good. So you faced the premier quarterback in junior college football, picked him off, held him on a lot of drives. So you've got to feel confident facing any QB this year.
I mean, I think so too. Boy, I think he's really the real deal. Probably as good as advertised. You can see why he was starting at Iowa State and had a really good 2022 campaign for them. Young man made a mistake, obviously. But I think Iowa Western's given him an opportunity to hopefully kind of reinvent himself. I don't know if it's true or not. So I've heard that he can't go back to the NCAA. So I think his next step is just trying to be at Iowa Western, trying to get to the NFL or the CFL. And according to Coach Strohmeyer, I think they've had about 6 NFL teams come by there and scout him and watch him. And I mean, I could see us, seeing him, not us, seeing him playing on Sundays. I mean, he put the ball where we had some really tight coverage on some balls, and he threw perfect darts. And you got to give their receivers credit; they made some great catches as well. But yeah, he's the real deal. I mean, he's a good player.
Speaking of QBs, Chip Cooper sat out about the last 5 or 6 plays of the ball game. How is he, and will he play on Saturday?
Yes, he will. He's fine. When you go back and watch the film, he kind of hit his head on the turf. I think he was fine. But our trainers just thought he didn't need to go in. Their evaluation, it didn't, think it constituted him going out there and risking further injury. They were having to do him a test on the sidelines. He shut his eyes. He was all wobbly. So, I mean, I think there were a little bit of effects there, but he was ready to go back in. But I mean, I think we made the right call. A young man's health is more important than any game, and but he'll be right back out there. He's passed all the concussion protocols, no headaches, nothing like that. I think he just kind of got his bell rung a little bit on the turf, and maybe a little woozy, but no concussion. It limited Coach Reddy and what we could do offensively a little bit there, but we found a way to still score. And maybe that 2-point trick play could have worked with him maybe a little bit more. Maybe he could have drawn some attention more than our backup. But you know what? At the end of the day, they stopped us, and shoulda, coulda, woulda. You go back and you watch that game. Man, there's so many shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I mean, if we just make that interception, it could have been a pick six, at least get in field goal territory, give yourself a chance. Young man dropped it. He probably feels worse than anybody. And then really we were able to stop him right there, Robert. And we had a little swing pass out there to Traquan Jones, which he's probably the fastest on the field. Literally, it's who has the clicker last, but it's like, I mean, if the tight end just gets his block, I mean, there's one man to make miss. I'm gonna put my house on Traquan Jones, and there's nobody else around. But hey, they made a play, we didn't. So it is what it is.
We were talking about Decker's great QB, Chip Cooper, great quarterback in a different mode. He is a guy that will get you some yardage running wise. And as a matter of fact, had 153 yards on Saturday. So when we come into the Tyler game, is it more of the same? Is it the same kind of offense where kind of a more run dominated pass at times and Cooper getting the bulk of the load? Or do we see something different?
I think you're gonna, what you see is what you get with our offense. I love what we do. I mean, we're a run first type of offense. I mean, I think it's always tough when you have to account for the quarterback when he is a runner. He's definitely gotten better at his passing. Made some really good throws. We had the one acrobatic touchdown, which, but that worked out for him in his favor. But he's you got to account for him, and we got some not new wrinkles, but maybe some stuff that we haven't really done as much. You got some triple option things like that. That's just our offense, and I love it. Kind of contrasting, what Iowa Western does, even though they have 11 personnel in the game, they're a throwing offense. And they had some really good runs against us too. We didn't fit well a couple times, but you're going to keep seeing what you get out of our offense.
Today, of course, this game, we are airing this or recording this in advance, but airing it on game day in front of the ball game. I think we're playing on an artificial turf. So does that matter to you? Is there any difference? Do you call plays differently? Is there anything that changes?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the only thing, it could be a little warmer. I don't think it'll be as hot as what it was this past weekend. I mean, I think it's supposed to be about 88 degrees. Maybe we're kind of getting into fall, but with that field turf, it could be a little bit hotter. We're really preaching, staying hydrated and everything for that game. Really nice facility. I think, we've been there once before together. I believe you've been there once with us. I don't know what year you started with us. It feels like it's been forever, but, it's called Earl Campbell Field, legend in his own right, a really neat stadium with the Tyler Independent School District. So it'll be a nice stadium. It's Texas football, right? So it's going to be a neat place, but I'm not really worried about the field turf.
What about the reduction in roster? You got a road game, so not near as many guys going with you. How has that process been?
Well, I tell you what, we're going to be loaded to the gills on this trip. We got because sometimes I think you just can't take enough O-line and D-line. I mean, we're taking some guys potentially that maybe we could, trim the fat a little bit. But it looks like right now, I mean, we're going to take 70. That includes, the special teams guys, specialists. So, I mean, it's not that bad of a trip, to be honest with you. We got a good plan. I think we travel well. It's really only about 12 and a half some odd hours or so from here. We're going to leave out Sunday night. I mean, Sunday. We're going to leave out Thursday night, practice at Louisiana Tech University Friday morning, and find the old junior college hog trough there in Shreveport, Golden Corral, and eat us a big meal, and then make the rest of the way to Tyler. We should get in there, mid-afternoon on Friday and get ready to go play on Saturday.
Tyler, what do they bring to the table?
Oh man, athletically, a bunch of athletes. Their backup quarterback from last year. He's their starter this year, really long and lean up front. They're going to have skill guys. And then, they got a couple good running backs. One of them kind of reminds me of Traquan Jones, our number 6, their number 6, and number 9 for them was a little bit bigger. They're supposed to be solid defensively, just like they always are. I mean, it's Texas football. I mean, they're going to have a lot of good athletes running around. They're desperate for a win, and so are we. After they got knocked off by Dodge City last week, and hopefully we can go out there and get us a win.
When you think Texas football, you think scoring points. They only put 17 on the board last week against Dodge City. Is it fair to assume that it's a high-powered offense when you take on a Texas team?
I think so, for sure. I mean, I think there was a lot of factors maybe in that game. Dodge obviously has a really good, they got a good defense as well. They were getting some love, I think, now in the polls. But I mean, they had 2 lightning delays. I don't think they got that game over till like 1 something, 2 in the morning. I mean, so a lot of factors there, that just probably hampered that game. It was a low scoring game. So, obviously for Dodge as well, just, going out, coming back, I think there are some outstanding factors there that probably didn't let them get in their rhythm. But I mean, look, after what they did to us last year, we got to be ready to get out there and play because they do. Looks like offensively, they got some explosive guys for sure.
Last question, the health of the Bulldogs. Who is hurt and not playing, or is there such an injury?
No, I think, just some bumps and bruises, some guys that didn't play this past game, some AC joint type things. They didn't play this last game, which they played for us against Gyro Prep. They're still out. But overall and all, coming out of that slobber knocker, I think we're relatively healthy, a good amount. So I think we'll be at full force. We've got a couple linemen, or one lineman that hadn't been able to play yet that I wish we had, but he hadn't played yet this year. So, I think we're pretty much healthy, and we're looking forward to getting out to Texas.
All right, what about a couple of guys, too, that after the Gyro Prep game were told to sit out the next game? Are they back?
That's what I was alluding to. Just some younger guys that been, they helped us on special teams and some stuff like that. They don't look like they're going to be back ready, but we're pretty much at 100%, ready to go.
Coach, looking forward to 9 left, a 9-game win streak. Let's start it against Tyler. Good luck against the Apaches.
Thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. Welcome as we get set for a matchup between the Apaches and Bulldogs. Bulldogs and Apaches coming off a loss a week ago. Apaches in their season opener on the road, losing to Dodge City. Meanwhile, Georgia Military College taking on the number 1 team in the country and lost in OT by 1. Robert Williamson set to bring you the coverage. And yes, as is typically the case, we are improvising a little bit. But hope to be able to get you everything you want from the standpoint of this matchup between the Apaches and Bulldogs. And let me say at the start, what a great job by Tyler Junior College, man. You talk about hospitable. Great folks to work with. Came in, said, hey, here's your spot. Down the way, we got Cokes, we got drinks. I said, well, I'll set up later. I'll go see what you got to munch on. Okay, I thought that, but I didn't do it. Got here after a game last night in Alabama and ready for some Georgia Military College football, taking on the Apaches, hoping to rebound from a loss 1 week ago. And Chip Cooper, who is starting at QB for the Bulldogs in this one, again, had to sit out the last few plays after banging his head against the turf there at Davenport Field. Well, Cooper went to the line and said, I don't care much for that oblong football there. Could you get me another one? And they do. They comply, and here we go with a football game between a couple of teams that are still really in the pursuit of a national championship, despite losing a week ago. But here very early in the season, this becomes one of the games that you can't take for granted. Jones on the carry, lost a yard or two. And it will bring up a second down and 11. Gorgeous complex, too. Here at Rose Stadium, Earl Campbell Field. If you don't remember who Earl Campbell is, well, first of all, you were very young. Secondly, you missed a treat, man. You talk about a bruiser-type running back. Second down and 11. And Gorgeous staying a little bit on the windy side. High snap. Able to bring it down Cooper, but those high snaps, these are games where everything has to be executed to perfection. And a high snap means a little disruption in the flow of the play, and Kitchen will get the yard back lost by Jones, but it'll bring up a third down and long for the Bulldogs. So very early in this one. Just a tad over a minute in. A third down conversion needed for the Bulldogs at the 25. Cooper, who was thrown for 342 and ran for 235. Will drop back to pass. Looks, fires, and wide open, and it's dropped. Bland had it, dropped it. There was nobody within 15 yards of Bland, and he was thinking paid her. And thought about heading downfield, upfield, whichever you prefer, before actually having that ball in possession. And the incomplete pass will bring up a fourth down. Snyder to kick it. Pretty strong rush. Able to get rid of it. And a nice kick. Back to the 11. And inside the 11, near the 9. So when it looked like it might be fairly decent field position for Josh Thomas and company for the Apaches, get a Cole Snyder kick that brings them back and forces them to set up shop inside their 10. Well, I know I worked a game yesterday in Alabama and rained for the better part of the game on the drive to about Hattiesburg. Still raining. But from Hattiesburg to Tyler, skies began to clear. And here in Tyler, Texas, it is gorgeous. As I mentioned a little bit on the windy side, pass caught out in the flats. A little better than 100 yards throwing last week, a touchdown and an interception for Thomas. And his first pass completion of this one will go to Jaden Lawton. Gain of a couple of yards brings up a second down and 8. Bulldogs would love to do to the Apaches what the Apaches did to the Dogs on the opening drive. Carry up the middle, and not a whole lot of running room. That is Laverian Logan on the carry.
3rd and 4 now for Tyler.
And it'll bring up a 3rd down and 4. Tyler trying to get to the 19. Dogs trying to keep them from hitting the 19-yard line. Thomas back to pass. Fires and it's caught. Complete pass out to the 30. Again, Lawton on the catch. And enough for the first. It'll bring up the 1st down and 10. Football just shy of the 30. Logan caught at the 35, dragged backwards, pick up a 5.
Handoff goes to Logan. In on the tackle.
And by the way, that was Patrick Daniels on the reception. This defender and offender wearing the same numbers for, old school announcers like me. Takes a bit to get accustomed to. But the number one that caught the pass was Patrick Daniels. Thomas to throw. And it will be incomplete. Intended for Aya.
Number 35, Jeremiah Burks.
And the incomplete pass brings up another 3rd down scenario. Stops the clock, 11:23. Left to play in the opening stanza of football. Here deep in the heart of Texas, Thomas drops back. Fires an incomplete. And it'll bring up a 4th down and long in a punting situation.
Pass intended for number 88, Lonnie Johnson, is incomplete. Depending on the play.
So the Apaches pick up a first, but the drive will stall at the 35.
Ryan Ramirez in punt formation.
Ramirez to boot it away. Calling for the fair catch is Bland, and then he'll back away, and it will take a left turn and go out of bounds near the 35-yard line. And that's where the Bulldogs will take over 1st down and 10. Bulldogs number 11 a week ago, but the 1-point loss in OT dropped them only 1 to number 12 in the country. Tyler, a loss to Dodge City, 2017, kind of uncharacteristic of a Tyler and a Texas team. They score a lot of points, typically on a given Saturday afternoon. But Tyler held to 17 in that loss in Kansas to Dodge City. And as a result, Dodge City has found their way into the top 15. 1st down and 10, 2nd drive of the football game, Georgia Military. Gain of about 4 on the carry by Jones. Jones coming into the ball game with 66 yards on the season. And just kind of anticipating a breakout game from Jones. I believe his breakout game a year ago was against Lewisburg in Casey, South Carolina. Gain of 5 on a 1st down carry, 2nd and 5. Cooper drops back to pass, nobody there. He'll take off, and we'll pick up the first at the 46.
Chip Cooper with the carry. Tackle is made by William Carlson along with Samuel Robles. 1st down for the Bulldogs.
Good crowd on him. Boy, when I pulled into the stadium, I was running a little bit behind because of the long drive, but I'm thinking, man, is there something else going on? No, there's football in Texas. So a good crowd on hand watching football this afternoon. Incomplete pass.
Pass intended for number 33, Kyrie Fuller, is incomplete.
Following the intended target. Coming into the ball game, 13 Georgia Military College completions. And 13 completions going to 8 different receivers. That incompletion turns into a 2nd and 10. Handoff given up the middle and just not a whole lot of running room. Jones again on the carry.
Making the tackle for the Apaches, Sam Fongane.
And we'll pick up limited yardage.
3rd and 12 now for the Bulldogs.
And it'll bring up a 3rd down and 12. Well, the Bulldogs with a first down out of this drive, so improvement from drive 1 to drive 2. But not satisfied with just picking up a first. Trying to keep this drive alive, they'll have to get inside Tyler territory to the 44-yard line. Cooper fakes the handoff. Drops back, strong rush, trying to get out of trouble, and he will be dropped back at the 37-yard line.
The tackle is made by Patty Sola.
So Cooper sacked, and drive number 2 will stall out about a couple of yards from where it began. Started at the 35. And Cole Schneider back onto the turf to kick. Meanwhile, Aya to receive. And that'll go out of bounds. Let's see where. 28-yard line. Opening drive started at the 9. This one at the 28 for Tyler. So the Bulldogs with a couple of drives and a first down. Tyler, their second drive about to begin here in Earl Campbell Field. 8:26 left to play in the opening quarter. Congratulations, Bayside Academy last night. Winners 7-5 over Orange Beach. Yep, that was a football game. Not a baseball game with the 2 RBI double winning it for Bayside. It was a 7-5 final.
Damari Jordan makes the tackle. 2nd down 8.
Couple of yards on the carry. 2nd down and 8. Nose of the football lying at the 30. Good to hear from Dave Elder. Watching the game, I'm assuming, from the GCAA facilities there in Timorest. Handoff given up the middle. And I see our first yellow hanky of the game. Gain of 3 on the carry for Sam Fongang. But you've got an infraction against Tyler. So it'll nullify the 3-yard run. And push Tyler backwards. By the way, we talked with Dave Elder on Tuesday, which means next week he is our halftime guest on game coverage. This week's halftime guest, Leland Reddy, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, assistant head coach. He will be with us at halftime via technology. Not live and in color. And it's Patrick Daniels with a catch brought out of bounds at the 25.
Patrick Daniels making the tackle for a 26-yard legacy.
So some of the penalty yardage back, bringing up a 3rd down and long for Tyler. Latest NJCAA football polls are going to change because Colin lost on Thursday. And then, of course, there's a big game today with 1 and 2, Iowa Western and Hodge. So somebody's going to lose that one. Thomas looking over the middle. And the pass will be caught by Patrick Daniels, quickly becoming the favorite target of Thomas. Tyler needed 13, got about 14. Picks up the first at the 38-yard line. And I was mentioning, by the way, that these two teams still in the hunt for a national championship, despite both having a blemish on their record. Complete pass to the 45-yard line. That is McGee, who has caught the only touchdown strike thus far in the season from Thomas.
Second down 3.
Gain of 7 brings up a 2nd and 3 from the 45. Thomas again. Incomplete pass, had a receiver open. Patrick Daniels was open over the middle, but an incomplete pass from Thomas. A little better than halfway through the quarter, and neither team has been in the other team's territory yet. Both have been right about this distance away. 5 yards from the other's territory. Here it is a 3rd down and 3 with a football at the 45. Handoff given up the middle, pounding his way to midfield. Might not quite be into Bulldog territory, but a gain of the 3 yards necessary for the first by Ashton Haynes. And it'll be 1st and 10, Tyler. Thomas to throw. Pass complete. And this time it is Haynes catching the football after running for the first down.
Forced out of bounds by Yari Kalixty.
Picks up 9 on the play, 2nd and 1. But if you're Georgia Military and you're wanting to be in the Final Four, the top 4 teams that make it to the postseason, as Thomas rolls out and fires incomplete. In that game between Hutch and Iowa Western, you want Iowa Western to win it. You want everything in your covering. You want all the errors. And one of them would be having lost only by 1 in OT to the number 1 team in the country. So at this point, Georgia Military twofold. One is they want to win the rest of their games. 2 is they want Iowa Western to win the rest of their regular season games. Got a timeout on the field. It will be asked for by the Apaches. 5:16 to play. We are in quarter number 1 in a scoreless contest.
At Apache Athletics and on Instagram at TJC_athletics.
Georgia Sports Medicine Center is proud to serve our Central Georgia athletes. We offer Georgia's most comprehensive team of sports medicine fellowship-trained surgeons. The well-trained staff is committed to the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Ortho Georgia is excited to support student athletics by providing a free sports injury clinic in the fall on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The staff at Ortho Georgia works together to customize your rehabilitation program to ensure a speedy return to your activity. Remember Ortho Georgia, your home for orthopedic excellence.
3rd down and a yard, football on the 41-yard line. Pass play on the previous play, maybe an indication the Apaches confident they've got enough power in their run game to pick up a first from a yard away. And in the backfield is Fun Gain on a 3rd and short. And then, of course, the question becomes, if they do not convert, is it 4-down territory? Fun Gain says we won't have to decide. Picks up the first to the 36. Nice open field tackle. But a 1st down and 10 for the Apaches. On the stop, Jakari Jones. Thomas looking over the field, got a target open. Inside the 20, down to the 15-yard line. McGee not only inside Bulldog territory, now inside the red zone. 1st down and 10 to the 16. Thomas looks, and it is incomplete.
Pass intended to Patrick Daniels is incomplete. Depending on the play yard,
so an incomplete pass
second down for Tyler.
to Aya. And it'll bring up a second down and 10. Line of scrimmage remains the 16. A drive that started at their 28. Now at the Bulldogs 16. Tracked down from behind.
Handoff.
No gain on the play by Haynes.
Haynes.
And he might have actually lost a yard.
Tackle made by
It'll bring up a third down and long.
third down.
Big play here for the Georgia Military College defense, trying to hold the Apaches. Force a field goal try. If they gain nothing, you're looking at a field goal try of about 35 yards. 3 to the opposite side, 1 to this side. Haynes in the backfield beside Thomas. On a third down and 10. Thomas trying to get out of the grasp of the Dogs, but cannot.
Quarterback Josh Thomas dropped in the backfield. Making the tackle, number 93. Tackle is Holland.
Big stop from Highland, and, well, you were thinking best case scenario, maybe a 35-yard effort, booting it away from somewhere around the 25, but instead, after the sack, it will be a try of right at 38 yards. Penalty flags fly. Kick is up and good, but let's see if the 3 stands. If the infraction is against the Apaches, I'm putting money on the Dogs are taking it. If it is against the Bulldogs, we'll see if the Apaches take points off the board. It looks like it is going to go against the Dogs. And there you see it. The infraction against the Bulldogs decline in the 38-yard field goal. It's got the Apaches on top.
Deep for the Bulldogs. Derek Mincy. Also deep is number 81, Darryl Bland.
Three 0 advantage, 38-yard field goal. The drive that started at the 29 turns into 3. Kick return from Bland from the 3 out to the 23-yard line. And that is where the Bulldogs will take over first down and 10. Bulldogs left on Thursday, stopped yesterday at Louisiana Tech. Got some practice sessions in. Headed on to Tyler. And here with 3:17 to go in the opening stanza, find themselves down by 3. Let's see if that's a kind of a miniature wake-up call for the Bulldogs, who will now start their third drive of the quarter and football game, having picked up a single first down in the 2 prior drives. First down and 10, Cooper. And that is Phillips banging his way across the 27 to near the 28-yard line.
Making the tackle for the Apaches.
Pick up a 4, bringing up a second down and 6. Down marker on the other side of the field says fourth down, but unless, I've got some of those elderly-related mental issues, I think it is second down. And there, the down marker It goes to down number 2. Cooper goes back to the line of scrimmage. Might have squeaked out a yard, brings up a 3rd down and 5. 2 minutes, 18 seconds left to play opening quarter. 3-0. Tyler Junior College lead on a gorgeous day here in Tyler, Texas. I am looking around the stadium and see absolutely nothing cloud-wise. As I mentioned, it's a bit on the breezy side. Temperatures in the mid-80s. Cooper rolling out, he fires. And was the completion made? It was. Flood making the grab. And that'll be enough for the second first down of the football game for Georgia Military. Those are the football just shy of the 35. The drive that started at the 23. After the Bland return from the 3 to the 23. Handoff up the middle. Phillips again. Just not a whole lot of running room for the Bulldogs.
Phillips with the carry.
Might have picked up a yard.
With the
and it'll be a 2nd down and 9. Hey, a reminder, you're watching the game on YouTube. We would love you to have you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are now like 35-40 away from 5,000. That's the goal. To get to 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. Cooper on the keeper across midfield, still on his feet. And the first trip inside Apache territory. Compliments of Chip Cooper.
Jadius Lyons makes the tackle. It's a first down for the Bulldogs.
Down to the 41. Handoff given to Kitchen. And Kitchen able to get back to the line of scrimmage and squeak out a yard.
Kitchen, the ball carrier, making the tackle for Tyler.
Turns it into a 2nd down and 9.
2nd and 9.
And if you're asking, well, once you hit 5,000, what you going to do? Well, we're going to set a new goal. We're going to aim for about 6,000.
Tyler 3, Georgia Military 0.
We are through 1. And 15 minutes of football has seen a 38-yard field goal become the difference. "15 minutes into the game, it's a 3-zip advantage, but the Bulldogs have taken their first trip inside Apache territory to the 40, where it is a 2nd down and long. In this run-first offense, running into some problems against the Apaches. There's a gain maybe of a yard. Yeah, that is Jones on the carry.
Jones, ball carrier.
And it'll bring up a 3rd down and 10. Football at 41. You got to get to the 31 to pick up the first. Obviously out of field goal range. You'd be looking at about a 62-yarder if you don't pick up anything from here on a 3rd down. Cooper to pass. Looks, nothing there, takes off, got the first, got more, inside the 20, down to the 15-yard line goes Chip Cooper.
With the keeper, making the tackle for the Apaches. Raquan Bugs.
By the way, kudos to my friend Mike Frazier of JUCO Weekly, who has partnered with the NJCAA and will give the equivalent of the JUCO Heisman out at the end of the year. Late flag on the Jones carry. And I bring that up because I am going to propose, if things continue for Chip Cooper, and I know Mike's going to say, well, you're GMC bias. Well, it might be. But Cooper, you're looking at a dual threat who, if he continues on the current path, will throw for about 1,500 yards and run for about 1,000. Those kind of numbers should make you, or at least get you on a watch list. And two, what a player means to a team. Got a long season to go. A lot of guys are going to put some great numbers together, but Cooper ought to be in the hunt. Takes off again. Down to the 20, down to the 17 goes Chip Cooper.
With the keeper. Matthew Cooks with the tackle. Second down.
After the penalty yardage, it is a 2nd down and 13 following the gain by Cooper. Phillips in the backfield beside his quarterback. On a 2nd down and 14, Fuller the guy in motion. Snap of the football, fake to Phillips. And the pass is caught. That is Johnson on the grab.
Keith Johnson making the stop for Tyler. Raquan Bugs.
And again, another of those 8 different receivers who have caught Cooper and, in one particular instance, Christopher Young's pass. Make that Chris Phillips. I knew I shouldn't rely on my memory. I'm going, is your memory good enough to remember the name, Chris? I'm thinking Young, but it was Phillips. He's the guy that came in that opening game of the season against Jimer Prep. Right up the middle, into the end zone, touchdown. Georgia Military grabbing the lead on the 17-yard touchdown run. And Perez, who is 15 of 15 in this department.
Yeah, this is a good spot.
Trying to attack on another.
Hey, they're sitting in our seats. Do they have assigned seats? I don't know what to say.
There is 0.
Perez kick. Up and good. 7-3 Bulldogs. 11:53 to go in the first half.
Along with Cam Thomas.
Well, I mentioned it is windy today, and that's going to require a holder. This would not sit on the tee. I have not checked my weather app to see how windy. If I had to guess, let's go with 16 and gust to 20 plus. Short kick. Fielded at the 27. And that is where the Apaches will start this drive of the football game, down by 4. Bulldogs grabbing the lead. All right, let me pull out the weather app, and we'll get you some specifics in regards to current weather. 83 degrees, winds gusting to 25. They're at 13, gusting to 25. That wasn't off by much. Went with 16 and gust in the 20s. First down and 10. Thomas, handoff up the middle. Gain of 3 on the play. Will bring up a second down and 7. That is Logan on the carry.
Taquavius Holland with the tackle. Second down, 7.
I was mentioning earlier that if your Iowa Western keeps winning, Georgia Military does the same. I'm thinking they are in the top 4, no matter what happens elsewhere. Even if you've got an unbeaten team out of Mississippi, an unbeaten team out of Texas, you likely wouldn't have an unbeaten team out of Kansas, because if this scenario were to continue with an unbeaten Iowa Western and an unbeaten Georgia Military College, then you'd have at least a once-beaten Hutchinson.
Pass intended for Elijah Mesa. Incomplete.
So you got to believe with little minor miniature dynamics, at least at this point in the season, the Bulldogs are still in complete control of their own destiny. Maybe complete is a little inaccurate, but almost in complete control of their own destiny if they can continue to win. Thomas drops back pass. Might have been batted at the line of scrimmage. Drops incomplete. And brings up a third down.
Making the play for the Bulldogs. Now 3rd and 10 for the Apaches.
3rd down and 10, inside 11 to play, half number 1. Leland Reddy, our halftime guest. And a reminder, too, I know I've already mentioned YouTube, but subscribe to the premium channel to watch and download games later. A year's worth of access to anything that's on the site. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Thomas doing his best. Chip Cooper inside the 40, steps out at the 31, and you're going to get a late flag. And that's going to tack on additional yardage, a late hit. It was right there on the edge. Thomas near the sidelines, looked like he was about to step out. I get it from a Jordan Turner aspect. You've seen that before where they look like they're headed out and they don't. I get it from the official standpoint. It was a little more than a shove out of bounds. Big Markov down to the 15. First down and 10, Apaches. Running room to the outside, and did he break into the end zone? He did. Touchdown from Logan. And the Apaches come right back and respond to the Bulldogs. 6 with 6 of their own. Extra point kick. Up and good. Tyler reclaims the lead.
Point after by Christian Baxter.
The pathways to opportunities are endless at Georgia Military College. Since 1879, we have transformed students into effective leaders and engaged citizens, grounded in civility and respect for others. Whether you want a traditional college experience, something closer to home, or education online that suits your schedule, Georgia Military College is committed to helping you succeed. Start here. Go anywhere.
Bland running out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. It'll be pretty good field position.
Gerald Bland on the return.
And Georgia Military College looking to respond to the Tyler TD, which was in response to the Bulldog touchdown.
First and 10 Bulldogs.
So the Bulldogs with a 1st and 10. And the lead short-lived. Bulldogs score at the 11:53 mark. Apaches respond at the 10:19 mark. First down and 10, line of scrimmage, the 40-yard line. Fulham in motion, Cooper. Handoff given up the middle to Jones, and Jones will back his way to about the 42. We are thinking at the end of the ballgame we'll be talking with Rob Manchester, head coach of Georgia Military, with the conversation available only on YouTube. Not sure, though. I don't know if the coach knows where I am in the box. And he's a long way down there with a rather lengthy trip to get up here. But if we talk, it will be on YouTube. Cooper rolling out. And he will pick up 3, maybe 4. And bring up a 3rd down.
By William Carlson. Brings up a
3rd down and 5, football to the 45-yard line. Bulldogs have got to get into Apache territory to pick up the 1st. Relatively low-scoring game when you consider the points put on the board in the first couple of contests by Georgia Military. Screen pass to Jones. Jones will get the 1st as he will burst inside the 50 to the 48.
Tackle made by T.J. Williams. First down Bulldogs.
And 1st down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Bulldogs heading back to Georgia next week. Central Georgia Tech coming to town. Part of that GCAA conference now that features 3 football teams. Handoff given to Jones. Late flag coming in.
There are flags on the play.
And based on the fact the Bulldogs have that, what you talking about, kind of look on their, well, not in their face. I can't see their face from here, but the body language would indicate it is an infraction that goes against the Bulldogs. (10-7) Tyler lead here in quarter number 2. I noticed that Andrew College, their first game of the football season last week, canceled. But they are slated to play today. The option, Jones, inside the 40.
Traquan Jones with the carry.
So Traquan Jones
Made by Sam Bungay.
on the option. Inside the 40 to the 38-yard line.
Second down 1.
Cooper looking to pick up the first. And it will depend upon his spot. And the officials say he's got enough for the first.
Tackle made by Williams.
Latest NJCAA football polls feature a lot of Mississippi and Texas teams. Mississippi's got Jones, Mississippi Gulf Coast, Colin, East Mississippi, all in the top 15. I believe Texas has got Navarro, Kilgore. Up the middle, churning his way down to the 31. Phillips on the carry.
Keenan Phillips with the carry. Making the tackle for the Apaches.
He was hit at the line of scrimmage, able to pick up 8 positive yards down to the 30. And it'll be a second down and short, second down and 2. Bulldogs again trying to respond to the 6 put on the board by Tyler. Football's loose. Phillips jumps back on it at the 33. And then you got a late flag. Well, let's see what this is about. That'll be a late hit. So when Phillips jumped back on the loose ball, and Apache jumped on Phillips. So not only have you got the penalty yardage, you've got the first down. Football now inside the red zone at the 19-yard line, where it is first down and 10. Traquan Jones back in the backfield for Georgia Military. Cooper drops back, looks, flushed out of the pocket, still looking. And he will throw incomplete. But there are more Yellow Hankies. Late in the first quarter, I was about to say, did not, but about to say, man, there haven't been many penalties in this game. That's changed. And this one apparently going to go against the Bulldogs. Conversation with Tyler coaches, I guess trying to determine where the spot of the football would be following the mark-off. 10-yard mark-off, and it is marked off, I would assume, from the point of the foul. That's where it typically is. So the foul apparently came somewhere in the neighborhood of the 24. And the Bulldogs pushed back. Nope, they're now at the 29. So it happened somewhere around the 19. And the penalty yardage will put the Dogs at the 29, where it is first down and 20. Inside 6 minutes to play, half number 1. Cooper dropping back. Looks, fires, and it is incomplete. Jones was the intended guy.
It's second down now for the Bulldogs.
That'll bring us up a second down and 20. Football at the 29-yard line, 10-7. Tyler with a lead, a 38-yard field goal from Christian Baxter, and a 25-yard touchdown run from Logan. Bulldogs had Phillips go in from 17 yards out. Cooper again, dropping back to pass. And he's going to be dropped at the 39.
Quarterback is sacked on the play. Tackle is made by Darian White for the Apaches.
Third down and long. for the Bulldogs. First of technically 3 road trips. 4 altogether, but the game in South Carolina against Lewisburg is a home game for Georgia Military. So technically a trip to Texas, New York, and Utah are the road games. Cooper keeps it. Can he pick up what he needs for the first? No. Dropped at the 31. Now, if you're thinking field goal, you're looking at about a 47-yarder. And it doesn't appear the Bulldogs are thinking field goal. Cooper staying on the turf. They will go for it on a 4th down and right at 20. No need to punt it. Not going to pick up a whole lot of yardage. Field goal too long. So Cooper will try to get it inside the 10, near the 9. Unless he's got quick kick capabilities. And, boy, he was wanting the snap of the football, just couldn't get it. And there'll be a delay of the game. Charge to the Bulldogs. Sure looked like Cooper, though, was going into a quick kick formation. And I think the Apaches now believe that could be true as they send Aya onto the field to return a potential kick. And now you've got 8 time out of the field. And it'll be charged to Georgia Military. 4:07 left in half one. And the difference, Christian Baxter, 38-yard field goal.
Michigan 6.
Well, we're going to keep it right here despite the timeout. Bulldogs are quickly onto the turn, so we do not have time to go to the break. And now you do have Cole Schneider on to kick. So no quick kick, no decoys. Schneider kicks. And our PA guy is saying this is Patrick Daniels. The roster provided says that this is Bernak Aya back to receive. But I got a feeling the PA guy knows better than the roster. Let's see if Snyder can pin him back. Well, it will hit the leg of Jordan Turner. Looked like it was going to take kind of a bulldog roll. But Turner wasn't exactly sure where the ball was, and it comes down, hits the leg, and stops there. Josh Thomas on a 1st down and 10. Football at the 18-yard line. Drops back, looks, fires, caught. And a gain of a few on the pass play. That will go to Cam Thomas. That is Thomas to Thomas. Josh to Cam. Gain of a couple brings up a 2nd down and 8. Thomas. Handoff given to Lawton. Or check that. That is Patrick Daniels, I think.
Handoff goes to Patrick Daniels. Flags on play.
Yeah, there's a holding infraction. It'll be charged to the Apaches. Yep, I'm a one-man band, so I was looking at the roster to see who was running the football or catching the football, and my camera work suffered as a result. My apologies. Wind howling around the stadium here, Earl Campbell Field. Christus Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium. Penalty yardage, pushing the Apaches back to the 11. able to make the catch and get out of bounds and pick up a lot of the yardage lost in the hold and then some. That is Jamari Evans. And it brings the Apaches to a manageable 3rd and 7. Got across the 29 to pick up the first. Thomas to throw. Steps up. Tries to fake off the defender, but not able to do so.
Josh Thomas, ball carrier. Forced out of bounds by Colin Kungu.
A good job by Colin Kungu, who didn't buy it on the fake pass. Stayed with Thomas, forces him out of bounds, brings up a 4th down and 2. And a punting situation. Bland coming on to receive the kick. And you got a timeout on the field asked for by Georgia Military. I don't think they have the right personnel on the field. We're having problems transitioning from their defensive unit to the punt team. And to play it safe, Rob Manchester asked for time. I think Rob Manchester is asking, was he charged with the timeout? The field was never cleared of Bulldogs. They stayed on the turn. However, the Apaches congregate, but when you look at the scoreboard, it still indicates both teams with 2 timeouts left. "31 seconds away from the 2-minute warning." I don't know if they call it the 2-minute warning in college football. They typically just say officials timeout. Maybe that's what they say in the NFL too. And just, when you watch broadcast, I think it's the 2-minute warning. But it's coming up nonetheless in 31 seconds. On a 4th down and a couple, Bland standing back at his 35. There is a flag. Let us hope this is against the Apaches, not the Dogs. If it's against the Bulldogs, it's 1st down. It's against the Apaches. When the Apaches were celebrating to the extent you thought it might be a Bulldog infraction in the first for Tyler, but instead it is a false start. Charged to Tyler and the Bulldogs. We'll get the kick. Bland will step up to about the 40 now. End over end kick. Bland will gather it in 38. Bring it to midfield. To the outside. Slips down at the 49. And that is where the Bulldogs will start this drive after the timeout.
The final episode of the Pest Control Guys. It's the competition that could win them the biggest contract of their life for Karen Moneybags. You won't believe what happens when we let the guys inside the house. It's 3 guys up for 1 contract. Only one can say, I do accept the contract. Next on the Pest Control Guys. Sponsored by Bughouse Pest Control. Protect your house with Bughouse.
Hey, high school students, you can join the Apache Band and Apache Bells for their annual game day experience on September 14th. Don't miss the opportunity to perform in the stands and on the field with these two legacy programs. For more information, visit their respective social media pages.
1:55 left to play in half number one. Phillips with a long Bulldog touchdown to the game. It gave the Bulldogs a brief lead that lasted about 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then Tyler took the lead back and have led it since. Bulldogs, though, trying to use this last 1:55 of the first half to produce some points. And they will start from midfield. Cooper able to avoid one would-be tackler, still on his feet, gets back to the line of scrimmage. And all in all, considering where he first made contact with the defender, midfield's not too shabby. Instead of a loss of 8, you've got no gain and a second down and 10. Cooper inside the 40, and he will run down to the 37, but a flag comes into the fray. And so often, especially when it is tossed near the line of scrimmage, you've got a holding. Let's see if that's what the officials say. There's two fouls. Two Bulldogs holding. And they took the second of the two. My assumption would be he was not as far downfield. It's marked off from the point of infraction. And now the Bulldogs find themselves 60 yards away from pay dirt with 30 seconds ticking off the clock versus 50 away with about 2 to go in the half. And not in a hurry at the moment, which would suggest not necessarily that they're content with a 3-point deficit, but they do not want to give Tyler the ball back with an opportunity to expand the lead. And they are content with trying to make the halftime adjustments necessary. Not much on the carry, gain of a yard, third down. And you got a time on the field. It will be asked for by the Apaches. Apaches saying, heck, if you're not going to pick up positive yardage, we'll stop the clock and see if we get a chance to get the ball back or block a punt attempt.
The pathways to opportunities are endless at Georgia Military College. Since 1879, we have transformed students into effective leaders and engaged citizens, grounded in civility and respect for others. Whether you want a traditional college experience, something closer to home, or education online that suits your schedule, Georgia Military College is committed to helping you succeed. Start here. Go anywhere.
Clock has been reset to 51 seconds, turning this into a big play. There is a timeout left in the complement of 3 for the Apaches, and you're looking at a third down and long. So the Apaches definitely will be calling a timeout unless the Bulldogs can get a big third down play here. Telebast in motion. And now it is Johnson who takes off. Cooper to pass. Downfield, incomplete. Pass intended for Tarver. Well, here's the downside of the incomplete pass. It stops the clock without the use of a timeout. So it leaves the Apaches with 1. Cole Snyder set to kick it away, but there's a whistle. I'm looking for flags. I don't see them. Did the Apaches use their last time out? I wouldn't think so, with 46 seconds remaining in the half. But at this point, don't see a flag. Well, I do not know what the stoppage in play was all about. No flag thrown, no penalty yardage marked off. Snyder long spiraling kick. Aya bringing it from the 19. Sandwiched at the 28.
Stallings with the return for the Apaches. Making the stop, number 7, Jordan Turner.
So the Apaches with 72 yards,
They'll spot ball
36 seconds and 1 timeout.
28-yard line. First and 10 Tyler.
A 10-7 ball game. And if you are the Bulldogs, you don't want any more Apache points before heading into the locker room at halftime. First down and 10. Thomas drops back, looks, gets rid of it. And there's a penalty flag, and there could be a roughing the passer call.
Depending on the play, Yari Koletsky.
It'll be that or an intentional grounding. Let's see which of the two. Intentional grounding, okay. If it is roughing the quarterback, now they will say no foul on the tackle. So they were thinking about roughing the quarterback. I know you want to protect the quarterback. I know the rules are to protect the quarterback. And I know there's always going to be a little discrepancy, a little fine line, a gray area in continuing to protect the quarterback. Got a receiver wide open. Aya cannot make the catch. Bulldogs delighted that Thomas was off mark.
Pass intended for Terrence Stallings is incomplete. Depending on the play.
Wow, he got behind the Bulldog defenders and was wide open.
For the Apaches.
And the Bulldogs have gotten their gift from above. Thomas flushed out of the pocket. He'll be dropped at the 32. Loses the helmet in the process, which means he's got to come off the field.
Josh Thomas with the keeper. Ryan Conaway.
So if you're the
Along
Apaches,
with Emmanuel Yampi, making the tackle.
how does it change the complexion of the play? Almost wonder if you let the game expire the first half of the game, but apparently a timeout has been called, so that's not going to be the option unless there is some kind of foul again that I did not see the officials talking with Tyler. 12 seconds left in the half. I never heard officials say there was a timeout. Never had the PA guy indicate there was one. The officials confirming, and I think our head umpire just said so there was a 10-second runoff. Clock will go down to 2. And let's see if the Apaches come out with a plan with 2 seconds remaining or if they want to take it to the locker room. The buzzer is sounded to indicate the quarter and the half has come to an end, but I don't see anybody headed to a locker room at the moment, and now they say there is a timeout asked for by the Apaches, and a little time will be put back on the clock. Well, the Apaches thinking, heck, you got them, use them. You never know what can happen even in the span of 2 seconds. Different quarterback because of the helmet popping off the head of Thomas. And there the buzzer sounds to end the half. And there is a late flag. And there is a little fractious moment. And now another penalty flag. Well, it all started with a late hit, and now the officials have got things to sort out. And then apparently temperaments flared on the Apache side as well. It was definitely a late hit on Sam Fungang. Of course, the question mark now becomes, what else is tossed in? Do we have disqualifications? Do we have, because of the response, offsetting infractions? So much to be explained, and let's see if the official will do that for us. Just about every official who had a hanky through it. And I would assume the coach for Tyler is asking, do we get another play? Do we get an untimed down? On the other side of the field, Rob Manchester is saying half over. Let's see what the official says. Well, I guess it could have been worse from a Bulldog standpoint. Penalty yardage will be assessed on the kickoff for the second half. We are officially now at halftime. And here at the half, it is a Tyler 10-7 lead.
Duty, honor, country. Those are the words we live by at Georgia Military College as we aim to instill patriotism in our students as they develop into effective leaders and engaged citizens. Whether you're looking for a traditional college experience with intercollegiate athletics and Corps of Cadets, satellite campuses close to home, or a global online leadership college where you pursue your degree when it's convenient for you, the pathways to opportunities are endless at Georgia Military College. We are committed to helping you succeed as a student in the classroom, as an athlete on the field of competition, as a cadet leading your peers, or as a student online. At Georgia Military College, you can start here, go anywhere.
It is halftime of the half, a 10-7 Tyler lead over Georgia Military College. Tyler got the scoring started at the 3:23 mark in the opening stanza on a 38-yard Christian Baxter field goal. And it was the Apaches up by a 3-zip margin. 11:53 to go in the second. The lone first half score for Georgia Military. A Phillips 17-yard touchdown run. The Perez kick good. Bulldogs led at 7-3, but Tyler comes right back. Right about 90 seconds later, 10:19 to play in the half. A 25-yard Logan touchdown and the Baxter extra point kick good. And that's got us to here. Halftime. Maybe on the scoreboard, not a lot of action. Been a lot of different stuff going on the field here in Tyler, Texas. And at the half, 10-7. It is the Apaches leading it. Our halftime conversation is with Leland Reddy. Leland Reddy is the offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, and the assistant head coach here. And that conversation about 90 seconds away. But first, a reminder of the folks that make this coverage possible. If it weren't for they, we wouldn't be here. CBiz. Also brought to you by Enos Legal, the auto accident firm. After the game, during the game, before the game, go to the Pickle Barrel and enjoy. Still hot, still temperatures in the 80s, still sweating when outdoors. Nothing better to quench that thirst than Coca-Cola. Got bugs in the house. You need Bug House. Also brought to you by Ortho Georgia, the orthopedic specialist. Of course, Georgia Military College. And a reminder that you want to help with the athletic department at Georgia Military College, there is how. Their fundraiser, Release the Dogs, going on now. It is halftime, and the Bulldogs down by 3 at the half. Leland Reddy coming up right after this.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby, you got me falling hard for you. It's you, I felt this way before, you know it's true. It's you, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
Georgia Sports Medicine Center is proud to serve our Central Georgia athletes. We offer Georgia's most comprehensive team of sports medicine fellowship-trained surgeons. The well-trained staff is committed to the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Ortho Georgia is excited to support student athletics by providing a free sports injury clinic in the fall on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The staff at Ortho Georgia works together to customize your rehabilitation program to ensure a speedy return to your activity. Remember Ortho Georgia, your home for orthopedic.
Great to have with us as our halftime guest, Leland Reddy, the offensive coordinator for Georgia Military College. Coach, how you doing?
Great, man. Great to be with you today. Appreciate the opportunity.
Hey, it's our pleasure, obviously. We're recording this in advance. We are not talking at halftime of the Tyler Georgia Military College football game. You've got a little on your plate at this particular moment in time. So we're doing this a little bit in advance. Before we talk about last week, Iowa Western, this week, Tyler, I know we did this last year when we talked, but we got a lot of new viewers. So I need to have a refresher course on the background of Leland Reddy in your second year there in Georgia Military. How'd you get there?
Yeah, so I'm going into year 17 this year coaching. I'm from state of Georgia, grew up in Waynesboro, Georgia. Started coaching in 2007 at a small private school, Piedmont Academy, and coached Georgia high school and private school and public school for 12 years. Then got an opportunity to work with Michigan State, and then got on as a offensive analyst at Georgia Southern in 2020. Was there for 2020, 2021, and then went back to high school for a year as the offensive coordinator at Coffee High School. And then through great relationships with Coach Manchester and some of the guys here, got the opportunity to come here. So that's how I got here. It's been a long, winding road.
Second year in Georgia military. Is it noticeably more comfortable in your second year as compared to the first?
Absolutely. Look, it's last year, even at this point last year, I was still learning, how we travel, how we operate game day, all those kind of things that, Coach Manchester's been here for a little bit. So he was very comfortable, but I was still learning, how do we do a road game? How do we do, all those kind of things. And so, always, and it's been my experience, limited experience, but it's been my experience that the second year is you really are able to be who you are. You've been able to establish your program and your culture and all the things that we want to do offensively. And now we're just able to go out and execute. So comfortable, never comfortable, but much more acquainted with how we do things. So.
I can't say that I've ever thought about it until just then. It popped into my head that all of us are affected by the external. I mean, we may not realize it, but even our decision-making is affected by, in this particular case, a comfort level. Can you notice a little bit different calling of a game now that you're a little bit more comfortable in the other aspects of the game?
For sure. That part, it definitely, all the things that we do during the week, and I know everybody sees all that we do on Saturday, but there's so much that goes into every single week, and the ebbs and flows, and the, guys are available to practice. Some guys are not available to practice one day, all those kind of things, just being able to know where I'm showing up to, what we're doing, all those kind of things. It's just all those things go into the level of things that you don't have to think about that I was all still thinking about at this point last year. So yeah, it definitely plays a factor. And, there's those things, but then there's also the comfortability with our players, because we have a lot of returners at key positions, quarterback, center, slot receiver, that are really important. Running back. I mean, just guys that already know how I operate. And I know that when we get into a situation where I need to adjust or anything like that, I know that those guys are already comfortable to be able to do something that's maybe slightly off the plan, but I know that we need to be able to do. And so last year I just couldn't feel comfortable doing those things. I knew that, hey, this was new for everybody. And now I feel a little bit more latitude to be able to do some of those things, just because those guys are also in their second year, which them being comfortable is way more important than me being comfortable.
Does that mean, if you were to analyze your first two games of this year as compared to the first two games of last year, do you feel like you are calling a better game 2 games in this year?
Listen here, I'll say this about me. I always am very hard on myself about how things go, good or bad to the outside world. I am my harshest critic by far. But I feel like it's less about me and more about our staff is doing a phenomenal job. Last year, I had 3 guys that had very, very little experience coaching football, much less with me. And between them and our players, I'm comfortable knowing that they're going to be able to execute and that we're better prepared. And that's the biggest thing, is we've got a whole group of guys, and I'm talking about our coaching staff, that has done a phenomenal job of growing and learning and forming to the things that I want to be able to, my vision for what we can be offensively. And so just to know that everybody else is more comfortable, that's my job as the coordinator, in my opinion, to make sure that those guys can operate at the highest, most efficient level. And then that way I can operate on Saturday knowing that everybody else is comfortable. So
you go to the Georgia Military College website, you look by Leland Reddy's name, and there is offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, assistant head coach. Am I wrong? But isn't that more duties than a year ago?
Listen, and I'm extremely grateful. Coach Manchester gave me the assistant head coach title this offseason. Not something that I was looking for, but I'm very grateful for the opportunity to grow. There's a lot of guys in this business that really aspire to be head coaches, and that has never been my dream. My dream has been to be an offensive coordinator and be great at that. But I'll say this, moving into some of the administrative roles and really having more influence on some of the day-to-day operation decisions and those kind of things has been a different experience for me and something that I've really enjoyed. So it's been good. And again, I appreciate Coach Manchester for giving me the opportunity. So
you got to be very pleased with the offense, 74 points in one, 41 points in the other. I know there was the disappointment in the loss to the number one team in the country, Iowa Western. But overall, you've got to be happy with the performance of your offense in 2 weeks.
Like I said, I am always my harshest critic, and I look back on a lot of opportunities that we've missed and things that we can do better. Obviously at this point, and go back to the conversation we just had a second ago, is our guys are just more comfortable doing the things that I believe in, especially at this point in the season. I didn't feel like where we're at right now, I didn't feel like we got to this point until week 8 or 9 last year. And again, that's just familiarity with who I am and our coaches and all those kind of things. And so I feel like that we're definitely further ahead than where we started last year, but I also see all the things that we could be doing better. And, that's just how I have to think about it, So
I assume, and I don't know if second guess is the appropriate word. It might be just evaluating, what the decisions you make during the course of a game. But let's call it second guessing. If there was the single play that you second guessed the most against Iowa Western, what was it?
Yeah, so there's no question that there's one single play, and it's not the one that everybody probably would think. But we had a 4th and goal from the 1 going into the 4th quarter. We had a 9-play drive that ended with us not getting in, that would have put us up 28-21. And that call, I go back and I look at it, and, sometimes you have a bad feeling about a call before you make it. Like going back and look at it schematically, it wasn't a bad call. It wasn't anything that I'm like, man, I really, this was a bad decision schematically. It was just something that, like, in my gut, I was like, I probably need to change this call. And I didn't, and then we didn't get in. And so it's kind of like, as we look, that to me, much more than the 2-point conversion call. I would call that 2-point conversion call 10 more times. The only thing is, sometimes you call things and they don't work. So it's like, man, I'd love to see what would have happened if we'd have done something else. But like, I don't second guess the call. The 4th and 1 on the goal line, I wish I had done something different, but I wish that I had done something different before we ran the call. You always wish that you had done something different if it doesn't work. But, that's one of the things that I got a ton of faith in our players, and we did a phenomenal job of executing in some really, really difficult situations. Our coaches did a great job of making adjustments during the game, and our kids played their tails off. But, to answer your question, if there was one, it'd be that 4th and 1. I wish that I had run a slightly different version of the same thing that we did. But
All right, I want the biggest pleasant offensive surprise of the season thus far. I mean, we expected Cooper to play well. I mean, yeah, he played well a year ago. We expected Jones to pick up yardage. He picked up yardage a year ago. The surprise for you, the most pleasant one offensively?
It's hard to say. There's a lot of guys, and it absolutely with our team starts up front. Whether it be Jonathan Ashley, who played for us last year, Gabe Pierce, who's a true freshman coming in and playing, starting at guard and ended up ending the game at tackle for us. Jalen Walton at center, Charlie Allen at guard, Isaiah Turner at guard, Max Thurston, playing the first half and then, not being able to finish the game. But all of those guys, it's a drastically different cast of characters up there on the front. There's a lot of different guys that are playing a lot of different positions, and we've had to move people around into combinations but the offensive line, and that's a ton of credit to Coach Crawford, has been the biggest bright spot for us from last year. And I think that a lot of that starts with, we did a great job in recruiting with those guys. We recruited, we recruited well. We recruited high quality people and guys that just love playing football. And that it's not a singular person, but that group and how they've meshed and really gelled so quickly has been the biggest reason for our success. So
last week, Iowa Western, this week, Tyler, what is the game plan similar where the two are concerned, or is it a totally different offensive scheme?
I'll say this, the last 2 weeks playing Gyro Prep and playing Iowa Western, neither one of them had played a game already this year. So there's a lot of guesswork that goes into, especially in junior college football, because everybody has a brand new team every year. And so it's hard to know personnel. You're guessing on some scheme things. And so you have to have this wide net that you're prepared for going into the game, because you're not sure exactly what they're going to be doing. In this case, Tyler is a very good football team. They are very good. And last year they came down here and showed us that. But they have a very good team again this year. The positive for us is that we have a game on them. We're able to see their actual personnel they're going to play. We saw what they did schematically against Dodge City. So that part is better. So it's really not a different game plan as much as it is I can kind of pare down what we've had. Like I said, we've had to do prepare for a lot of things the last couple of weeks just because we didn't know what we were going to get. And now having a better idea of what we think we're going to get, the game plan smaller, which is a huge positive because our kids can play faster, think less, and just go out and play football.
One last question in the final 30 seconds to a minute or so, and that is a much smaller roster traveling versus at home. What role do you play in reducing that roster to a travel team?
That is extremely difficult because we start making those decisions, on Monday, Tuesday, as practice goes, that trims down, and it is extremely difficult because we know at home we got some leeway. We can bring whoever we want to have there and be ready to go. And when we got to cut that down. That it's really difficult, and it comes back to what guys are practicing the best, what guys are producing right now, and that's a hard conversation for some of those guys that have been dressing out that are not going to be able to go with us. We wish we could take everybody with us, but that's just not the case. But it's very difficult, and it comes all the way down to Thursday after practice to making some of those decisions. So.
Well, Coach, my math skills are really limited, but I think it's 115 points in 2 games, a great offensive showing. Thanks so much for being our guest, and good luck against the Apaches.
Thank y'all so much. We appreciate it, and go Dogs.
I am trying to recall a time that I have seen a team kick off from the 10. I'm sure I've seen it. It's been a while, though, after the penalty yardage marked off and those penalties incurred at the end of the first half. Georgia Military will kick off from their 10. From the 25-40, midfield inside Bulldog territory. And the Bulldogs say they've got it, that the ball was left on the turf. The officials haven't said such yet.
Cam Thomas with the return for the Apaches.
And let's see if there is going to be any discussion whatsoever or if it is going to be Apache football. Let's see. There is a penalty flag. Well, the official confirmed that the returner had a knee down before the ball popped out. So the Bulldogs will not get possession. However, it was a holding infraction. And if it is where the flag is currently situated, it'll be a 10-yard mark off from there. And all in all, if you are the Bulldogs, you're like, that's a lot better than it could have been. So the penalty yardage will be marked off from the 37 back 10 to the 27. And that's where things will start for the Apaches. By the way, you see a number on the scoreboard. By now, we're 3 games into the season. You're probably familiar with the process. Time to get to your shout-outs. And you know what we do? We take them all stands along at 334-488-1385. And off, giving up the middle. Big burst. Still on his feet. Spinning, turning. Finally brought down inside Bulldog territory. That's a new runner for the Apaches. Carson Green did not get a first-half carry, but he picks up big yardage, and all of that, happy feelings about the hold that pushed the Apaches back kind of went awry on the Green run inside Bulldog territory, but now you've got a Josh Thomas sack. So you talk about a roller coaster ride. That's what we've had early in this one. All right, shout-outs. We do them in the third stanza, and here's what we're looking for. You text me, 334-488-1385. It's the number there on your scoreboard. You tell us who the shout-out's to, who it's from, where it's from, what is it, and we read it. Pretty much simple as that. Thomas flushed out of the pocket. Fires downfield, but incomplete. Pass intended for McGee. And it'll bring up a third down and 20. And no, I'm going to try not to let your shout-outs interfere with my, camera operating and my play-by-play and my scorekeeping and all that other stuff. Used to be an old saying, can't walk and chew gum at the same time. That's me. But I'm going to try to mix in your shout-outs, 334-488-1385. Of course, you can shout out anytime you want on YouTube, but in the third quarter, we do it here in the broadcast. So you got about 13 minutes and 42 seconds to do a little more shouting. Green sidestepping Bulldogs for a bit, but eventually dropped near the 40. And it'll be a 4th down and long in a punting situation for the Apaches.
Aiden Minton makes a tackle. 4th down now for the Apaches.
Brian Ramirez onto the field to kick. And back deep to receive. If you will turn my way, I think I can get the numbers. That is Phillips, I believe. By the way, don't forget text. We typically get a call or two, but got a little football to call, so if you'll text it, that'll work. Who's it to? Who's it from? Where are you watching from? And what is it? That's all of it in a nutshell.
Spots the ball for the Apaches.
So the opening drive of half number 2 could have been dangerous. Apaches were going to wind up with excellent field position. Doesn't happen. And Georgia Military College will get the football for the first drive of the second half at the 35. So all in all, when you consider all that penalty yardage and everything that happened at the end of the first half, if you're the Bulldogs, you are happy that it's still a 3-point ball game and you're getting your first offensive possession of the second half, and that possession is starting at the 35. Handoff kept by, or make that faked to Jones and kept by Cooper. Won't get a whole lot. Might have even lost a yard. It'll be a second down and 11.
Number 45.
Shout out to number 61, Gabe Pierce, from Mom, Nana, Papa, Katie, and Ephraim. Go Bulldogs. Shout out to Landon Vickers, number 19 on the GMC Bulldogs, from Uncle Craig in Athens, Georgia. Big run up the middle. Don't let the camera get ahead of the speed of Traquan Jones. Into the end zone for the touchdown.
Traquan Jones.
Looking back, no penalty flags. 66 yards on the Jones scamper. And the Bulldogs quickly on the board, and the lead quickly back. Perez set to tack on the extra point. And his kick, like all of its predecessors, good. Well, that's a spot that is near and dear to the heart of Traquan Jones. It was the end of a 66-yard run. And Jones came into the ballgame with a total of 66 yards on the season. He matched that with one jaunt. Did I mention anything earlier about a breakout game? Could be on his way. Bulldogs, though, would like to keep the lead longer than 90 seconds. It's windy, gusting to 25, and that ball not wanting to stay on the tee. By the way, the shout out to Landon Vickers, interrupted by the 66-yard touchdown run, but we'll take it. Uncle Craig in Athens, Georgia, watching both Bulldogs play today. Go Dogs. Georgia and GMC, thanks so much for watching. Let's get it D-line, says the shout out to the Bulldogs. Ball at the 35 for the kick of Perez. And that'll go into the end zone. And it'll be brought out to the 25. And that is where the Apaches will start things. First down and 10. Bulldogs hoping for different results on the Tyler drive after the GMC touchdown in half number 2 as compared to half number 1. All right, shout-outs. They're coming in bundles. I better get to them. Well, thank you very much. Glad you enjoyed the interview with Coach Leland Reddy at halftime. If you missed it, it'll be on YouTube in a little bit. I'd say tomorrow. First down and 10, Apaches. And off to Green, and Green churning his way out to the 28, gain of 3. Second down and 7. Big shout out to GMC number 41, Walker Hicks, from his Aunt Shannon, Uncle JG, Bobo, and Granny. watching in Roswell, Georgia, and his cousin Jack watching from Belmont Abbey College in Charlotte, North Carolina. Thomas to pass. Caught by Patrick Daniels, and he's caught and dropped immediately.
Pass is complete.
If they give him everything he got out of the pass reception, it'll be back to the line of scrimmage.
Dale Roberts. It's third down now for the Apaches.
Shout out to Kamari Gray, number 63, GMC. Much love for mom and family back in Fayetteville, Georgia. Go Bulldogs. Shout out to number 61, Gabe Pierce from the Grays in Fitzgerald, Georgia. Third and long. Thomas. The incomplete pass over the middle. Intended for Aya. And it'll bring up a fourth down in a punting situation. And already looking better for the Bulldogs after scoring a touchdown in the first half of the Tiger drive as compared to the one here. Punting situation for Ramirez. Shout out to Jordan Turner, number 7, on Bulldogs from the Turner and Gist family. Ramirez kick, relatively short, fair catch called for, and made by Bland. An excellent field position for the Bulldogs, right about the 45. Shout outs to GMC freshman wide receiver number 17, Lee Niles. When the time comes, we know you're going to ball out when given the opportunity from all of Gwinnett County. Go Bulldogs, watching from Fitzgerald, Georgia. Shout out to number 31, Georgia Military Bulldog linebacker Jairus Coney. Proud grandparents watching from Cincinnati, Ohio. Shout out to number 93, Taquavius Holland from Uncle Trell. Holland with a big sack in the first half. And off given to Kinchin, and Kinchin will pick up 4. Second down and 6 coming up. Shout out to Tanner Enos, number 14 from Blaine and Jeffrey. Shout out to Traquan Jones from Big Cuz. Hashtag Big Q. Shout out to Damari Jordan. On a second down and 6. I think the ball came out. Kinchin, a good sign, Kinchin reaching behind his back. Not sure where the ball went, but it is recovered by the Bulldogs. Alertly aware was Jonathan Ashley. He'll fall on it. And the Bulldogs divert disaster and actually only lose a couple of yards. That certainly could have been much worse. Johnson, the guy in motion. Cooper on the option. He will stumble forward to the 45. The spot will determine whether it is a first or fourth. And from this vantage point, it appears it will be a fourth. Fourth and short. And the Bulldogs appear to be lining up for a quick snap and a go for it on 4th and short. Cooper on the keeper. And this one, too, is going to depend on where the officials place that football after parting all these bodies at the 45. Bulldogs say they've got it. Apaches say they don't. What matters is where the official puts the ball down. If he places it anywhere touching the 45, it's a first. And he does. Just the nose of the football. I think that is a first down. It is. Chains will move. And it is a first down and 10. Shout out says, let's eat dogs. Have fun, number 55, Vaishon Moody. And got the pause emoji. First and 10 at the 45. Handoff given to Kinchin, and somebody had his face mask, and there was a flag thrown in. So some penalty yardage going to be tacked on. Number 81, J.D. Bland. Auntie says, go Bulldogs. Janice Harris, thank you. They're in Milledgeville, Georgia. Penalty yardage will be marked off. Shout out to number 17, Lee Niles of GMC. Down to the 30 where it is first down and 10. Shout out to Coach Turner from his wife deployed overseas. Thank you so much for what you're doing overseas. Cooper on the keeper. Proud to have you watching. Gain of 6. 2nd and 4. Shout out to number 20, Quan Floyd, for mom and family. We love you, Cole Snyder, number 46. Good luck from Statesboro, Georgia, the Thompsons. Cole's girlfriend's family. Thank you very much for checking out the coverage and shouting out in the 3rd. Give goes to Kinchin. And he will pound his way inside the 20 for another Bulldog first down. Shout out to Jordan B.B. McCray from McCray, Georgia. Family watching in Wheeler, Georgia, saying, go. As in, go get them. GMC offensive lineman, Anias Harris, number 77, mom and dad watching the game. And the give to Kinchin. And Kinchin, another 3, another 4. And it'll bring up a 2nd down for the Bulldogs inside the red zone of the 16. Shout out to number 8, Keenan Phillips from the Ramies in Monroe, Georgia. Go Dogs. Shout out to my grandson, Yari Kalixti, number 26, from your grandparents, Jen and Mike in Georgia. Let's go Dogs with the crossed fingers emoji. Well, he was stopped at the 16 and then had a little help from some friends. And that is Phillips on the carry. And let's see where the officials spot the football, where he was met initially or where he ended the run. Well, they're going to compromise in between. Met initially at the 16, eventually went to the 14. They'll give him the 15. Shout out for number 40 from dad and family. Shout out to Aiden Benton. Auntie. See you, number 90, Georgia Military. It is a 3rd down from the 15-yard line. And Chip Cooper wants time to go talk with Coach. So a timeout on the field, 5:13 to play in the 3rd. And since we got a cartload of shout-outs, let's keep it right here and try to get to a few more. Shout-outs to number 31, linebacker J.C. Coney, Uncle Damon. See you. Shout-out Elijah Coleman, number 5, from Statesboro, Georgia. Shout-out number 17, let's go Lee, let's go Bulldogs. Your cousin Asia. Mommy loves you. Good luck. Number 25, Tank. Shout out to Tanner Enos from April and Kristen. Number 8, Jorian Jojo Haynes. Shout out from his dad in Rockmart, Georgia. Shout out Tanner Enos, GMC Bulldog number 14. From Lil Bro Gunner, watching from Elabelle, Georgia. Shout out to Keenan Phillips, number 8. We love you and supporting you. And the Bulldogs, all the way from Bainbridge, Georgia. Let's go Bulldogs and Coach Emil Smith from Mom, watching in my home state, Gadsden, Alabama. Shout out to Jairus Coney, number 31, from grandparents in Eastman, Georgia. This is Branch. God is good. Shout out to number 5, Jay Jones from Monroe, Georgia. Shout out Cam number 72. I'm partying with your mama. Love Jules in Bainbridge. Shout out number 3, Chip Cooper. Love Aunt Lori. Go Bulldogs. Third down. Not quite enough for the first. Question is now, do you go for the 3? Or do you try to pick up the first? I'm looking to see if there's any flags because of the quick scurry over to the official by the Tyler coach. But I don't see any flags on the field at the moment. But the officials conferring. Go Bulldogs for the Manchester girls. And I would assume we're talking about Rob's daughters. Thank you very much for watching. Shout out to Decorian Stanley, a.k.a. Day Day. Good luck today, and Mama loves you. Got the blue emoji and the little kissy emoji. Hashtag Go Bulldogs. There have been multiple conversations all game long. Officials, coaches, and a lot of them without flags. Well, the indication from the official I thought was something geared towards the Apaches, but there was no penalty yardage marked off. And now there is. And that's big. Makes it a 3rd and short. In the backfield is Phillips, and he will hurdle Apaches for what I think is a first down. Yep, sticks will move. And it'll be 1st and goal, Georgia Military. Shout out to Jordan Turner, number 7 on Georgia, Granddad Turner. Shout out to Liam Fordham, number 43 from Lizzie. And hope you like it, Georgia. Go Dogs from Illabelle, Georgia. Go number 14. First and goal. Line of scrimmage, the 8. Handoff given to Phillips. And Phillips brought down around the 7, but I think if they give him his forward progress, it will be near the 5. And that's where it will be 2nd down and goal. Shout out to number 20, Quan Floyd from your brother Chris. I love you. Shout out to number 26, Yuri Calixte from Uncle Luther in Marietta. Shout out to Keenan, number 8, Bulldogs for the Marshalls and Climax, Georgia. Second and goal. Give goes to Phillips. Phillips driving. Did he break the plane of the end zone? The officials yet to say. And now the officials say, indeed, into the end zone, Bulldogs. Phillips, his 2nd touchdown of the game. And Perez on to try and attack on another point. So Jones from 66 yards away, Phillips from 5 yards out. And Perez trying to tack the extra point on. He will, but there is a flag. So let's keep it right here and see what the infraction is about. Both teams making their way to the sidelines would indicate the point good, and the penalty yardage will be assessed later. So we'll sort it out when we come back.
Duty, honor, country. Those are the words we live by at Georgia Military College, as we aim to instill patriotism in our students as they develop into effective leaders and engaged citizens. Whether you're looking for a traditional college experience with intercollegiate athletics and Corps of Cadets, satellite campuses close to home, or a global online leadership college where you pursue your degree when it's convenient for you, the pathways to opportunities are endless at Georgia Military College. We are committed to helping you succeed as a student in the classroom, as an athlete on the field of competition, as a cadet leading your peers, or as a student online. At Georgia Military College, you can start here, go anywhere.
Well, after there were flags on the play, the officials say there was no foul on the play. As that will wind up in the end zone, the ball will come out at the 25-yard line, and that's where the Apaches will take over. It's been a Bulldog third stanza. Down by 3 coming into the corner and up by 11 as we get near the end of the stanza. More shout-outs. Go for John Mooney, number 55. Let's get it, Lee. We see you, my boy. Go Bulldogs. Love Deja and crew. Good block on that 66-yard touchdown. Good job, number 33. Keep God first. Go Bulldogs. Kyrie Fuller. First down and 10. Hand off up the middle, and not a whole lot there for Ashton Haynes. Shout out to Darrell Bland Jr., number 81, from Auntie Janice Harris from Milledgeville, Georgia. 47, Darian Smith, Baxley, Georgia, says the shout out. Thomas drops back, looks, fires. It is caught. There is running room for Haynes. Midfield still on his feet, 45-yard line. And the Apaches would make this game look substantially different going into the fourth with a score. Bulldogs don't want that to happen. They kind of like it as is. They like building this lead. First down and 10 Apaches. Thomas again, nearly picked off. And will bounce off the intended target. I believe that was Aaron Johnson. Shout out to number 78, Charlie Allen. We love you, from your family in McRae, Georgia. Shout out to Bulldogs, number 3, Chip Cooper, from his Aunt Mindy and grandmother Marilyn. Tear it up. Thomas. Pass caught. Yeah, that is Aya making the grab at the 31. And the Apaches with a first down. Shout out to my nephew, number 20, Quan Floyd. I love you, Auntie Shun. Shout out to all the GMC Bulldogs from Mrs. Davis. Woof, woof, woof. Thomas. Rolling, looking, firing, picked off. Bulldogs. And will it be a pick six? There's your answer.
Interception. Jordan McRae in for the touchdown.
Into the end zone, pick six. Apaches appear to be on the prowl. But there's some Bulldogs that said, I don't think so. Fourth pick of the year and the first pick six of the season. Jordan McRae, the INT. And the Bulldogs looking to extend the lead to 28-10. And Mr. Perez will do just that.
got me falling hard. Sweet baby, you got me falling hard for you. It's you. I felt this way before. You know it's true. It's you. You got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
Wow, what a third quarter. Jones with a 66-yard touchdown run. Phillips a 5-yard touchdown run. McCray a pick six. And the 3-point deficit has turned into an 18-point lead for Georgia Military. I wonder if it has anything to do with the shout-outs. I mean, we're doing shout-outs and they're scoring. Maybe we should do them all game long. Okay, I have a feeling there's little to do with the shout-outs. Bulldogs just playing a heck of a second half. They have definitely made the adjustments. And with 1:46 left to play in quarter number 3. Bulldogs with an 18-point lead. You've heard the old saying about a tale of two halves. That is definitely what you've got thus far. Good job, Kyrie, number 33. We are very proud of you. Love, Dad. In Adel, Georgia. Number 5, defense, TJC. Big trust, says the shout-out. Pass caught on the 22. Patrick Daniels nearly broke that one big. If he'd been able to break that tackle, that last tackle, and you're looking at a lot of green grass ahead. Let's go to Corey, and your Aunt Tori loves you. Continue to make us proud. Number 38's biggest fan. I'm not sure he made the pass completion. He did. Bobbled it, so I wasn't sure if he stepped out while bobbling, but apparently did make the reception. Shout out to number 31, J.C. Coney. There's a big run up the middle and then slammed to the turf. That is John Solitaire with his first carry of the ball game and picked up some nice yardage, but boy, did he pay. Shout out to number 31, J.C. Coney, a.k.a. Slimebacker from your parents in Warner Robins, Georgia. 1st and 10, Thomas. Looked like he wanted to heave long. There's a path open to the sidelines, and he will go out of bounds. And a penalty flag will be tossed into the fray as well. Boy, that was a slow motion run there at the end. And maybe Thomas knew this one was coming back. Penalty flags all over the place. Number 38, DeCorian Stanley from Manboy and Cary out of Fort Valley, Georgia. Shout out to number 3, Chip Cooper from his cousin Clay. Go Dogs. Shout out to Coach Collins from your family in Georgia. Two Apache fouls. And it is the illegal block to the back that will be accepted by the Bulldogs. It'll be marked off from the spot of infraction, so the Apaches will head back to the 43. Shout out to Jordan B.B. McCray from ZP, Ashton, and Walker. Shout out to Jordan B.B. McCray from McCray, Georgia. Love Deanna Clay and family. Let's go Jordan McCray. Showing out for McCray with a pick six. Dropped at the 41-yard line.
Josh Thomas,
Big stop
sack for loss.
of Josh Thomas.
Tackle. Darius Smith for the loss.
That is Darian Smith on the stop, and kind of caught us unaware. We've wrapped up the third. And it has been a big stanza for the Bulldogs. Down by 3 coming in, leaving up by 18.
Georgia Sports Medicine Center is proud to serve our Central Georgia athletes. We offer Georgia's most comprehensive team of sports medicine fellowship-trained surgeons. The well-trained staff is committed to the prevention, care, and rehabilitation of all athletic injuries. Ortho Georgia is excited to support student athletics by providing a free sports injury clinic in the fall on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The staff at Ortho Georgia works together to customize your rehabilitation program to ensure a speedy return to your activity. Remember Ortho Georgia, your home for orthopedic excellence.
Big third stanza, 3 scores. Jones a 66-yard touchdown run. Phillips from 5 yards out. McCray with a 78-yard pick six. And the Bulldogs leading it by 18, headed into the fourth. Thomas drops back, steps up, looks, dumps it off to his safety valve, and there's not much there. Evans with a couple of yards on the reception. There is another hold, though. Charge to the Apaches. So the Apaches march backwards again. Hey, thanks for all the shout-outs. Great to have you watching the game wherever you are watching from. With a reminder, you can shout out anytime on YouTube. Post your shout-outs there all game long. We'll just take them in the third here. Thomas drops back. Flushed out of the pocket, dropped at the 32. And if he gained anything, it wasn't much.
Josh Thomas, ball carrier.
And by the way, we did get some other shout-outs in the third, so they're legal. They're verified and certified shout-outs. Shout out to my boy 22, love you, brother. Shout out to Lee Niles from your family in Georgia. Shout out to Jordan B.B. McCray from McCray, Georgia, love Reagan. Shout out to Jordan B.B. McCray from McCray, Georgia, love Toya and Kanye. Heaving it downfield to a wide open.
Pass intended for Terrence Dawes is incomplete.
That is Aya again. He's twice been wide open, got behind the defenders,
Fourth down.
and has been missed by Thomas on both occasions. And it'll bring up a fourth down in a punting situation. Ramirez on the kick. Shout out to Jordan B.B. McCray. Oh, I read that one. Let me go to another. As Ramirez will kick. Bland will be driven back. Fielded at the 18. And he'll be dropped at the 22. A gain of 3 on the return. Shout out to number 20, Quan Floyd. Mama loves you and so proud of you. Go Bulldogs. Shout out to number 78, Charlie Allen from your Workmore family, who is so proud of you. Shout out number 17, Lee Niles, Georgia. Love Dad and Miss Ty with a heart emoji. Shout out to Charlie Allen Love Marcy. All right, there we go. All cut up. Thanks for the shout-outs. Great to have you watching. Wherever you are watching, whether it be in the States or overseas, good to have you on the other end of the broadcast. And don't forget, too, by the way, we are now 30 or less away from 5,000 YouTube subscribers. Man, would we love to have you as a subscriber. Click the button. We'll like you. We'll love you. Gain of 3 on a Traquan Jones carry and a late flat. Apaches say it's against the Dogs. Let's see what the officials have to say about it. Officials conferring, and we'll know shortly. All right, the officials conferring again, and we'll know a little bit later. So in his offsetting infractions, you've got a penalty charged to Darian White of the Apaches, and you've got one charge to Traquan Jones of Georgia Military. Handoff given to Jones. And Jones runs into a pile of humanity and is driven backwards. And you just get a feeling tempers are frayed at this particular moment. Frustration for the Apaches and kind of a release valve for the Bulldogs after a frustrating first half of play. It'll bring up a third down. We'll call it 7. Cooper to pass. Fires over the middle, and it is incomplete. Johnson, the intended target. And guess what? Back here, there are penalty flags. Personal foul charge to the Apaches. So the Bulldogs will pick up the first on the penalty. And the offense of the Bulldogs kind of built for this stage of a ball game. A more time-consuming, run-oriented offense. .12 minutes, 31 seconds left to play in the football game. Still plenty of time for Tyler. They certainly aren't out of the ball game. But if you're the Bulldogs and you can go on one of those sustained drives where you consume in the neighborhood of 7 minutes or so, got a 5-yard mark-off movement by the Bulldogs. And especially if you get a score out of it. Put a long drive together, get 6 or 7 out of it. Then you brought the clock down to about 5 minutes or so left in the ball game. You've extended it to a 3-score lead. You like where you're at in the game if you can make that happen. 1st and 15. Handoff given to Phillips, and Phillips will gain a couple of yards. And there is another flag. Well, if the first quarter there was not much, in the second half there's been a lot. A lot of penalty yardage. And now you've got a face mask charged to the Apaches. That'll be a big one. And get the Bulldogs just inside Apache territory. All right, a few more shout-outs coming in. I know it's the fourth quarter, not the third, but I guess if you make the rules, you can break the rules. Shout-out to Darian Smith, number 47, from Metter, Georgia. Shout-out to Jordan B.B. McCray. We love you, from Ivory and Zaylor. Shout-out number 20, Quan Floyd from Vito. Lee Niles, do your thing. Auntie loves you. Shout-out to Lee Niles from your grandparents. Let's go, Lee. And a shout-out to Jordan B.B. McCray. We love you. Again, from Ivory and Zaylor. 1st and 10, football at the 48. Fourth quarter action. Planned in motion. Handoff given to Jones. And there was an injured Apache. But he is going to be able to come off the field. Wobbly, but able to come off underneath his own power. That is Bryce. I think that's Sam Fongang. So Fongang coming off the field. Gain him a couple, 2nd down and 8. Cooper. Give goes to Jones, and Jones will get a couple of yards. Well, and reminders, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Man, we'd like to hit 5,000 by the end of the day. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. Gives you access to everything that we do, period. And then some. Like the conversations with Rob Manchester after the game. You get to watch those if you are a subscriber to our YouTube channel. And more. We'll have Leland Reddy's conversation at halftime on YouTube later. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Pass is complete.
Pass complete to Jordan McCray. 1st down.
And that is Johnson on the reception. I know the PA guy said Jordan McCray, but I feel his pain. You know, with these offensive and defensive players with the same numbers, it is sometimes difficult to know. But that was Johnson bringing in the pass. It's enough for the first, and now the Bulldogs can run some more time off the clock. Got a penalty flag, a delay of game. And it will be charged to the Bulldogs. They'll march backwards 5. Shout out number 38 to Corian Stanley from Skadelic Entertainment in Fort Valley, Georgia. Keep the party going. Thank you very much, Skadelic. Shout out number 38, Georgia Military College. Go Poochie, Poochie, Poo. Auntie loves you. Handoff given to Jones. And he'll back his way to the 41.
Trequan Jones, the ball carrier. Making the tackle, William.
I'm not sure these guys want their nicknames put out in shout-outs. I'm sure they're good with it. Poochie, Poochie, Poo. Getting a shout-out from Georgia. Second down, 12. Handoff given to Kinchin. Check that. That's Cooper.
Cooper with the carry.
I thought it was Kinchin,
Ziggy Loa in on the tackle.
but instead it was Cooper. Excellent play fake.
TJ Williams
Brings it inside the 40 down to the 38-yard line where it is third down and long. And again, it's a very slow and deliberate drive by Georgia Military, just trying to run time off the clock in addition to picking up positive yardage. And again, we hope to be talking with Rob Manchester after the game. We'll have that on YouTube later. And the reason I'm not sure is because I don't think he knows where we are. But heck, I might get a text after the game and we'll get him up here in the booth. Pass caught by Jones, and Jones will make his way inside the 40 to the 39. That might be the first Jones reception of the year. And if so, now you're looking at 9 different receivers, 8 coming in. That would be the 9. And it'll bring up a fourth down in a punting situation. Cole Snyder averaging 38 per kick. Ready to boot it away. Aya standing at his 10 to receive. Line drive kick, and it will roll out at the 10. Effective Snyder kick. And the Apaches will be forced to begin things at their 10, 90 yards away, and down by 3 scores. And it appears Thomas is not going to be in the backfield. Thomas, starting quarterback, whose only play he sat out in the first half was after the helmet popped off. It is Trey Guerra who is in at quarterback and runs on that particular play, his second from scrimmage, first of the second half.
Tackle made by Haynes and Hodges.
So Guerra with a gain of 9. Handoff given to Logan, and Logan will pick up the first to the 27. And the Apaches with some effective runs, with the Bulldogs anticipating pass. It has picked up positive yardage, but the clock continues to run. And now it is stopped with an infraction on the sidelines. And it is a false start charged to the Apaches. Hey, one other thing, you want to watch the game later, it's available on demand. You can watch it anytime you like. As a matter of fact, if you subscribe to our premium channel, you can watch anything on the website anytime you like. For a year, unlimited downloads. There's about 900, maybe 1,000 games on the website for the last year. Not just Georgia Military, Bayside, South Georgia Tech, Alabama North and South, Bishop State, and so much more.
Trey Guerra, the ball carrier.
Guerra on the carry.
Making the tackle is Deshaun Moody.
Gains a couple of yards. It'll bring up a second down and 9. And a timeout asked for by the Bulldogs, and I think that was because the defender couldn't get off the field in time, and they knew that there could be a 5-yard penalty coming. So instead, opt to expend a timeout and avoid the 5-yard gain via the penalty by the Apaches. 6:08 left to play in the football game. Guerra, his first pass, and it is caught by Patrick Daniels. And depending upon the spot, will be close to a first. Bulldogs thought the ball came out, and they recovered. The officials say no. And it is a first down. So Guerra will complete his first of the football game. And it will give Tyler a first down. Guerra running for his life. Tosses downfield, incomplete. Intended again for Patrick Daniels. Logan with a hold for the Apaches. So had it been complete, it would be coming back. And it'll be a 10-yard mark off from the point of infraction, which appears to be the 38. Guerra to pass, looks, got a target wide open. There was not a Bulldog within sight.
Pass is complete to Tristan Lurie.
And that'll be the first pass reception of the football game for Tristan Lurie. Guerra to pass, fires, got another target. Open, incomplete pass. Again, Lurie, the intended receiver, and you see the defender had fallen down. However, I think he would have been open regardless. And it'll bring up a second down. Lee Niles, number 17. Darling loves you. Go number 38 to Corian Poochie Stanley. And shout out to the whole Bulldog team from Ken Franks. Bring home the win. Ken, how you doing? He's working. I mean, it may not be game day at Davenport Field, but Ken's always working. What a great job they do in making Davenport not just playable, good looking year long. Good to hear from you, Ken, and I'll bring home the win to the Bulldogs from him in the game. Well, at halftime, it looked a little iffy. A little less than 5 minutes to go in the football game. It's looking a heck of a lot better. Guerra, pass is caught or dropped. It is dropped. McGee. Incomplete pass. And it brings up a 4th down and 10. And if you're the Apaches down by 18, you don't have a lot of options. You're going for it on 4th down. Guerra, pass caught. It will be very close to a first. Looked like maybe about a yard shy. And it will be. And the Bulldogs will take over on the loss of Apache Downs. Elijah Besa with the catch, but came up a yard shy of the first. And the Bulldogs will take over with 4:44 left to go. Apaches have their full complement of 3 timeouts left. I don't know if they will use those up. I mean, coaches are realists. And with 4:44 to play, the odds are not in your favor to come from behind from 18 down. But I'm sure, I know, it has happened somewhere, sometime before. those flagless conversations. Official trotting to the sidelines to have a brief conversation with the Tyler coach, Tanner Jacobson. First down and 10 Bulldogs. Keith Johnson turns around, brings in the Chip Cooper toss down to the 28. And that might be the nail.
Depending on the play for Tyler with the tackle for Quad Bugs. First down Bulldogs.
Boy, I'm glad I didn't say what I was thinking. You would question my analysis skills. You question them anyway, do you not? I think everybody was anticipating the Bulldogs to run. And that's what the Bulldogs and Leland Reddy used against them. Down to Keith Johnson. Where it is first down and 10 at the 28. And off given to Phillips. Phillips trying to bring it around the end. He will. Got more yardage than anticipated. Got a penalty flag tossed in as well.
Keenan Phillips, the ball carrier, flags on the play.
Bulldogs with a hold. From the spot of infraction. I've told Coach Manchester that I would love to get a camera and a microphone into the locker room at halftime. And he said, I probably don't have a problem with that, if I remember the conversation correctly. I would love to know what was said at halftime of this one. The Bulldog coaches were not happy with a single touchdown in that first half. And then to end it with some penalties that meant you were going to be kicking from your 10. As you've got another penalty.
Making the tackle, Jaden Matthews.
But whatever was said at halftime, if you could bottle it up and tote it with you every game, it has worked wonders in half number 2. As you've had a 21-point swing. Well, the officials conferring. And let's see what this flag's about. That's an unsportsmanlike call going against the Apaches. It is the first unsportsmanlike foul on the Apache Darian White, but it is his second of the quarter, second big one of the quarter. Half the distance to the goal, ball down to the 14, where it is first down and 10. Well, the official's saying, wait a minute, the 14 is not in the right spot. The 14.5 is. So moves it to the 14.5. Where it is first down and 10. Kinchin behind quarterback Cooper. Handoff given to Kinchin. And Kinchin down to the 12. Gain of a couple of yards. And there's another flag.
Handoff goes to Kinchin.
And if this one's going to be, I'm seeing a little waving. Like, so long. Thought it might be against the same guy, White, but it is not. Another half the distance to the goal, infraction. And it is first and goal at the 6. And now you got another timeout charged to the officials. But hey, I guess if you had to do all this talking to make sure it's done right, then you're doing the right thing. There's just been an awful lot of conversations. And we have yet another one implemented by the line judge. Well, let's see if we get an explanation. Doesn't appear we will. Back to a first and goal from the 6. Cooper lifts it towards Tarver, and Tarver cannot bring the toss in.
Pass intended for Ricardo Tarver is incomplete. Depending on the play for Tyler. McQuan Bugs. It's second and goal.
Jim Cooper looking for touchdown toss number 4 on the year. Trying to get Tarver. But it is incomplete, brings up a second down and goal. Kinch into the backfield. He'll get the carry. He'll break it up the middle. He'll dive into the end zone. Touchdown, Kinchin. A lot of different names in the scoring column for the Bulldogs, and Kinchin adds his. Does it from 6 yards out. And Perez set to tack on the extra point. Snap, hold, and kick. It is all good.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby, got me falling hard for you. It's new, I felt this way before, you know it's true. It's still, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
Two minutes, 39 seconds left to play in the football game. And Georgia Military with a 35-10 lead. 2.5 minutes away from becoming 2-1 on the year. And the Apaches dropping to an unusual, for this Apache program, 0-2. "25-mile-an-hour wind gusts," knocking that one off the tee. More shout-outs to number 31, J.C. Coney, from your parents, Dee and Ferris. Congratulations, Jordan B.B. McCray, on your second pick of the season. This one in pick 6. Yeah, it was the turning point. It was definitely the turning point of the ball game. It was a 2-score Bulldog lead, but the Apaches were driving. And the pick by McCray just completely changed the complexion of the game.
Tristan Lurie with the return. Christopher Watson with the tackle.
Return out to about the 41-yard line by Tristan Lurie.
The 45-yard line on the Apaches, 1st and 10.
And it looks like the Apaches is going to try another QB. This is Nathan Greek. So the Apaches using the opportunity to evaluate talent in game conditions. And Greek now in at quarterback. And the complete pass to a gentleman for whom we have no number on the roster. Let's see if I can cross-reference another roster and come up with a name for you. William Commelson. And it is Commelson who will make his way inside the 35 to the 34. And a timeout on the field. And it's the 2-minute warning. I know, they may not call it a 2-minute warning. That's what we're calling it. A couple of minutes away from Georgia Military's second win of the year.
The final episode of the Pest Control Guys. It's the competition that could win them the biggest contract of their life for Karen Moneybags. You won't believe what happens when we let the guys inside the house. It's 3 guys up for 1 contract. Only one can say, I do accept the contract. Next on the Pest Control Guys. Sponsored by Bughouse Pest Control. Protect your house with Bughouse.
Officials trying to get the clock here set back to 2 minutes left in the fourth. We're still stuck on 158. Now the official looking back up. Okay, is our guy in the box? Still looking at the clock, still at 158. There we go. Central Georgia Tech next week for Georgia Military. Back to the friendly confines of Davenport Field. Got some contact and you got a flag. Likely pass interference, offensive pass interference. And it is a 15-yard mark off on the pass interference call. Well, the game got off to such a quick start, comparatively speaking, and I'm talking about real time. First quarter ended quickly. But we have had multiple delays, and it has taken a while to get from the first to the second to the end of the fourth. Greek to pass. Fires towards the end zone, incomplete.
Pass intended for Lonnie Johnson's incomplete.
Lonnie Johnson, the intended target.
Jordan Haynes.
And it'll bring up a 2nd down and 10.
Second down.
Greek again to pass. Flushed out of the pocket, looks, fires. Nearly picked off. Leary in the vicinity, but it was a little too tall for Leary. And the Bulldogs nearly getting their 2nd pick of the game.
Keith Johnson. Correction, Jordan McCray, bidding on the play. It's 3rd down.
Brings up a 3rd down and 10. Football just inside the 20 at the 19. So Tyler with that loss to Dodge City a week ago. We'll go 0-2. Georgia Military with a 1-point loss to Iowa Western will improve to 2-1. Greek too tall with the toss.
Pass intended.
Again, targeted is Johnson, but it's an incomplete pass.
Short return, depending on the play.
Last time I checked, by the way, and let me do that now, on the Hutchinson-Iowa Western game, Hutch was up 31-21 with a couple of minutes to play in the first half. Let's see if I can get you an update on that game. As Greek will drop back.
Pass intended once again for Johnson.
Incomplete pass.
Lee Niles, depending on the play.
And Georgia Military about to take over and run out a minute 33. Let's see, Coffeyville 24-6 after one stanza over Cisco. It is 31-31. Hutch and Iowa Western. 8:39 left to play in the football game. How about this score? Butler a 66-zip lead over Ellsworth with 6 minutes to play in the game. Iowa Western just has a knack. I mean, Hutch was up 31-21 with a couple of minutes to play in the first half. Now they're in the fourth stanza, and Iowa Western's just right back into the game. First carry of the football game for Derek Mincy.
Making the tackle for the Apaches, William Carlson. It's second down.
And the Bulldogs a snap or two away from wrapping this one up from Earl Campbell Field in Tyler, Texas. And leaving the Lone Star State with a star on the helmet. Gold Star win. Another give goes to Mincy, and Mincy will cross the 30 to the 32. And let's see when the official starts the play clock. There is a little difference between game and play clock, enough to force one more snap. There is a single second is the difference between the play clock and the game clock. But more on the game than the play, so you got to snap it one more time. Cooper Will puts a knee to the turf, and that will do it for the football game. Georgia Military overcoming a rough first half, and especially a rather rough end of the first half. But poured it on in half number 2 and will win this one going away. 35-10, your final score. Apaches got on the board first, 3:23 to play in the first. Christian Baxter, 38-yard field goal. And then the Bulldogs taking their first lead of the game on a Phillips 17-yard run with 11:53 to play in the second. Logan, a 25-yard touchdown run for the Apaches, 10:19 to play to reclaim the lead, but that would be the last Tyler score. All of the third quarter and all of the fourth quarter scoring belonging to the Bulldogs. In the third, 12:08 to play, Jones, a 66-yard TD run. 3:30 to play in the third. Phillips, a 5-yard touchdown run. And then with a 1:46 to go in the third, it was basically the play that sealed it. 78-yard pick six for McCray. And in the fourth, you had a 6-yard touchdown run from Kinchin with 2:39 to go in the ball game. Perez good on all extra point tries. And this one now final, 35-10. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you don't mind. Not mandatory, just request it. Follow us on YouTube. as well as Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, Instagram. And if you want to watch this one later, we can fix you up. Go to the premium channel. Subscribe for $25, and that will get you a year of watching anything that's on the website and downloading it too. If that fellow right there can find us, we'll be talking with him after the game. Rob Manchester, and that will be on YouTube in a bit. Thanks for watching for Georgia Military College and JockJive. And also, let me say thanks to Tyler. Man, they have been such great, hospitable hosts, and we appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week at Davenport Field. For all the gang at JockJive, I'm Robert Williamson. So long, everybody.